Okay, first review of today is the Orval Trappist Ale. It's a product of Belgium. I don't know, I've never had it before, never heard of it. The alcohol is 6.9% in volume. This one was made in 98.
Yeah, so this is the very last of my case of the 98, which was probably my favorite year of it. So it's quite old, and we just took a sip of it to test it before we started this, just to make sure it was still going to be good, which it is. It's fine, but it's very, very different from how this normally is when it's only a couple of years old, when it's new, right? Typically, Orval has a very distinctive bubblegum type nose and flavor to it that's imparted by the yeast. That bubblegum flavor is gone from here now, and it's more of a tart, very dry kind of flavor. It's very dry in the finish, and it's kind of a tartish sort of flavor all the way through. Almost like a sour or a lambic, just a little bit, but it still has that Orval kind of character to it. You can tell it's Belgian. But essentially, what you would normally expect this to be is very effervescent, gorgeous golden color, and massively fragrant with that bubblegum kind of flavor that everyone sort of describes it as having. And it's very true, very accurate. But yeah, I was surprised to see that these ones that I had kept for so long, I cellared them fairly well, but they did make a couple moves, and there's been some temperature changes. But yeah, this is the last of the 98 right here. Let me show you the date stamp on it. Last of my 98. So we're going to taste it out here in the woods, and It's been interesting to see. I've opened one up every couple of years or so since then. Then I forget about it. I go, man, I need to try that again. And it's been interesting to see its evolution. I cellar a lot of Belgian beers, lambics, Flemish browns, Bière de Gardes.
It's got a real powerful smell.
Mm-hmm.
It's real sweet.
Yeah, it still does have kind of a sweet nose. Yeah, it's very, very dry and very kind of short. Mm-hmm. But man, it's still crisp. It's still effervescent, refreshing. And then at the very, very end, you kind of almost get that little bit of the traditional Orval sort of character and flavor to it. It's very soft now, though, not as pronounced as it normally is. It's probably past its prime as far as the way it's supposed to be and supposed to taste, but it's fantastic, fantastic. It's my favorite beer on earth, period. Of any kind of beer, any style, from anywhere, Orval is absolutely my favorite. So there's a cool little story that goes along with it. The Orval Trappist monastery. So it's one of these Trappist beers. There's several of them. Supposedly got its name, Orval, or Val d'Or, like the golden, from the legend of Countess Mathilde from Tuscany. So she was evidently a widow, and she was grieving by the sight of a body of water, and lost her ring into the water, and prayed to God to get it back. And this little fish right here, in the legend it's a trout, this guy brought the ring back to her in his mouth. So that's why you see it on there, and that's why, oh shoot, I lost the cap. That's why you see it on the cap too. So, whatever about whether or not that really happened. Yeah. But it's a neat story, and the Orval Brewery is from Val d'Or. She exclaimed, "This is truly a Val d'Or." So, fell in love with the place, and the monastery was founded there, and took the name and the legend, and kept that in their beer. So it's been around for many hundreds of years. But it's if you've never had Orval, it's world class Trappist ale. It's the very best you can get, and it's nothing like other Trappists at all. It's not like other triples, other Trappist strong ale. It's nothing like any of them. This is by far the most unique Trappist beer out there, and it's all because of that real kind of bubblegumish kind of flavor you get from it. We're not experiencing too much of that, but you notice at the very, very end of it, after you're done, you just get the smallest hint of it. It's still in there.
Somewhat in the smell too.
The yeast, at the very beginning when we opened it to test it, I could kind of smell it. The yeast is incredible. I mean, it's very unique. I at the brewery I ran in Seattle, I cultured some of the. So this is live, right? And it's bottle conditioned. So there's live yeast at the bottom. Probably not anymore. Probably all totally autolyzed. But I cultured some of the yeast that was in the bottom, built up a nice prop batch of it, and I made a Belgian heather ale using this yeast, and it had that bubblegummy, very perfumey sort of nose and character to it. And then we used some heather flowers in the boil, and it was fucking top notch Belgian beer. It was outstanding stuff, but it was all right here, all because of this yeast strain. It was like a special thing we did for the herb farm one year. They were trying to find people to brew beer with different herbs and stuff, so we used heather flowers, and that's how we did it. But gorgeous golden color, and I just can't say enough about it. So, cheers.
I'm excited to try it without the age too. So, definitely, I like it.
Yeah, you're gonna love a newer one.
Yeah, it's definitely unique.
Yeah, it's definitely different, but you just get the hint, just the tiniest hint of how it is when it's new.
Yeah.
That's cool. Good.
Thumbs up.
Yep. Bye-bye 1998.
Yeah.